Hello and welcome back to Transfer Talk, your weekly look at the biggest gossip and rumours in the Premier League and beyond. We're inching ever closer to the window reopening on January the 1st, 2020, and the talk is starting to hot up. As ever, if you've got any inside info or think we've missed something, tweet me at Zach Jellop or the Football Daily account with the hashtag TransferTalk, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications on so you never miss a video. Let's kick off this week's rundown with the latest news surrounding Granit Xhaka. The 27-year-old Swiss international was stripped of the Arsenal captaincy after he reacted angrily to being booed when substituted in their 2-2 draw with Crystal Palace. The 82-capped midfielder hasn't been seen in an Arsenal shirt since, and speculation has grown that he could be sold in January, with Newcastle and AC Milan supposedly leading the chase. But now the Mirror claims that the Gooners could actually use Xhaka as a pawn to land his replacement, with the club holding a long-term interest in Borussia Mönchengladbach's Dennis Zakaria. It's easy to see why Emery would want the 22-year-old, who is now in his third year with Gladbach, having joined from Young Boys in June 2017. He hasn't missed a single Bundesliga or Europa League game in 1920, contributing 2 goals and 1 assist in the process. Zakaria is a rare breed, a central midfielder that can make 4.1 tackles and interceptions with 2.2 dribbles per 90. And whilst his 84% pass accuracy is slightly below Xhaka's 86, it does rise to 92% in European competition. Now, why he'd want to swap a Bundesliga title challenge for struggling Arsenal mid-season is another question. But if the Gooners could offload Xhaka to his former club and bring in his fellow countryman in his stead, that would signify fantastic business on their part. Watch this space. We stick in North London now, where one of the most surprising managerial changes of all time has taken place in the last 24 hours. With Spurs currently languishing in 14th, 11 points off 4th place Man City, having won just 3 of the opening 12 Premier League games, Chairman Daniel Levy took the decision to sack Mauricio Pochettino and replace him with Jose Mourinho. Firstly, Pochettino. Despite the Lily Whites' atrocious form, which includes 25 points from their last 24 league games, there was still almost universal surprise when Levy took the decision to fire the Argentine. After all, he'd won 54% of his games, the 4th best record in their history, and led them to 4 top 4 finishes in 5 years, with the club having done that just 3 times in the preceding 25 years. And although he had ultimately failed to win a trophy, he had taken Spurs to the Champions League final in June, their first European final in 35 years. But the disappointment of that 2-0 defeat to Liverpool, plus an inability to shift some players, meant Pochettino was forced to work with a stale squad and ultimately lost his job. In his stead, Levy has appointed Jose Mourinho, or as he calls him, one of the most successful managers in world football. The 56-year-old Portuguese has won 21 trophies in his 19-year managerial career, including 8 league titles in 4 different countries and 2 Champions Leagues. But remember, this is a man who was fired from Manchester United in December 2018, with the club 19 points behind leaders Liverpool at that time, and who had fallen out with numerous senior players. But how do you guys think he will get along with a totally new squad, filled with players who want to leave and seemingly divided between each other? For us, this seems like a massive risk, but more importantly, what sort of impact do you think it will have on the Spurs squad? Will players like Ali, Son and Kane, who have matured and developed under Pochettino, follow want-away players like Eriksen and Alderweireld out of the door? Let us know in the comments below. But Spurs aren't the only team that have struggled so far this season, albeit not to the same extent. Having only lost 6 games in the last 2 Premier League campaigns combined, Man City have already lost 3 despite being just 12 games into the new season. This has largely been down to their failure to replace the outgoing company, meaning that once injuries to Laporte and Stones struck, the citizens were forced to play the error-prone Otamendi and Fernandinho for large parts of the season, sitting 9 points behind leaders Liverpool already, and having conceded more goals than City rivals Man United. It appears Pep Guardiola is preparing to dip into the January market to sign a centre-back. According to The Guardian, their first choice target is RB Leipzig's Dayot Upamecano. The French under-21 international, currently playing in his 4th season with Leipzig, having joined from Salzburg, has recovered from missing the second half of the 18-19 campaign with a knee injury, to make 11 appearances for De Bullen so far. Over 62 passes at an 88% pass completion rate and 4 long balls a game, not to mention 3.4 tackles and interceptions per 90, it's clear Upamecano would be an obvious upgrade to Otamendi in central defence. With his release clause supposedly dropping to 53 million ahead of next season, this transfer seems to make sense from a City perspective. And if you were Upamecano, would you swap Leipzig for the citizens right now? Let us know in the poll above. We head over to Catalonia now, where Barcelona are supposedly plotting a double swoop for William and Ruiz next summer. Mundo Deportivo claim that the Blaugrana are expected to renew their long-term interest in 31-year-old William in 2020. The Brazilian, now in his 7th year of football in London, is supposedly stalling on signing a new contract, with his current one expiring at the end of the season. Although it might be a good time for the Blues to cut ties, there is no doubting that William is currently playing some of the best football of his Chelsea career, with 5 goal contributions in just 11 league appearances. At the other end of the experience and availability scale is Fabian Ruiz, with the 23-year-old Napoli midfielder in the second of his 5-year deal in Naples. The former Betis man, long admired by the Blaugrana, is currently averaging 2.8 shots and 1.6 dribbles per 90, whilst playing all across the midfield. Napoli's current situation might pave the way for a January move, and if they don't qualify for next season's Champions League, we don't see any reason why this move couldn't happen. But Barca fans, we want to hear from you. Would you welcome these two players, or do you think you should strengthen in other areas? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Would excuse you for never having heard of Swedish teenager Dejan Kulusevski. The 19-year-old winger is contracted to Atalanta but is currently on loan with fellow Serie A side Parma. And to call him a revelation would be an understatement. Having played just 103 minutes of Serie A action for the Bergamo side in 18-19, Kulusevski has played in every top-flight game this term, with only 3 Parma players topping his 994 minutes of action. In that time, the Stockholm-born winger has scored 2 and assisted 5, with an average of a goal contribution every 142 minutes. His form has been a crucial component of Parma's superb start to this season, which sees them sit in 8th, just 2 points off Napoli at this early stage. His 2.4 dribbles and 2.8 key passes has led to an expected goals and assist ratio of 0.44, the same as Napoli's Jose Calderon and Hirving Lozano. Unsurprisingly, this form has attracted some admiring glances from these shores, with the Daily Mirror reporting that Arsenal and Man United are both interested in signing the player, now valued at £40 million by his club. But just 15 league games into his professional career, surely this represents a massive risk, especially when both sides have youngsters like Greenwood, Chong, Xhaka and Willock, keen to break into their respective first 11s. Either way, Kulusevski is a name worth keeping an eye on over the coming months. We now move on to a player who's not unfamiliar to a Transfer Talk video. It's none other than Neymar. Yes, we once again bring up the 27-year-old because it appears that a move away from PSG could finally be materialising, with the Brazilian rejecting the opportunity to renew his contract in Paris. According to reports by Spanish newspaper Sport, with his current deal set to expire in 2022, PSG recently offered him a 3-year extension, only for it to be swiftly rejected by the player as he looks to force through a return to Spain. And whilst the 8-time French champions are unsurprisingly keen to keep hold of their prized asset, especially considering the speculation surrounding Mbappe, a clause in his contract could make all the difference. That's because Sport's article claims that after 3 years of his 5-year deal, Neymar is free to leave for £153 million, which shouldn't be insurmountable for Real Madrid or his preferred destination of Barcelona. Sport even claim that Neymar is so determined for a move to happen that he is prepared to pay £17 million of his own money to make the move reality. Barcelona director Eric Abidal spoke over the weekend of their desire to land their former player, saying a top player who has Barca philosophy and who is performing at a high level will always be an option. Before continuing, I will not say that it will be option number 1, but it can be a clear option. But guys, we want to hear from you. Do you think this is just more talk or the start of the end for Neymar at PSG? Let us know down below. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this transfer talk. Mental, some of these stories, absolutely ridiculous. But if we've missed out on any other stories, please send them to us on Twitter or put them in the comments below and we'll reply to them. If you want to see more Football Daily videos, click on screen right now for more. And as always guys, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Bye!